1, 2, 3. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Hey! Huzzah! Happy 4 years, everybody! All right.
Welcome back to JD and the Sumpsea. I'm Jay, and today is a recap of the Ash Waste Weekend 2025. And if you like comprehensive Necromunda event coverage videos, then make sure you bust out your Warhammer and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our videos. On Wednesday, Dale and I met up at Old Guard Games. Thanks again, Old Guard Games, for hosting our Thursday night Necromunda nights and allowing us the storage space for our terrain. Link in the description below. We took all of our terrain out of the storage and began setting up the tables we wanted to use at the Ash Waste Weekend. We laid everything out and repacked everything once we knew what we were taking. We then brought everything upstairs and loaded it into Dale's van. The next morning, Dale picked me up and we were on the road to La Crosse. I was excited and nervous since this was my first weekend-long Necromunda event that I would be running, but Dale reassured me everything would go well, and we soon stopped for breakfast at the Pinecone. Their bakery section is eye-opening and their food is priced well and is tasty. We were back on the road again in short order and we took the route to Wisconsin Dells and Eau Claire, and we passed by the butterfly catching building, aka the driving range, as we always do. Dale had a fun idea on this trip to use Discord to live stream our drive.
Alright, we're going to get off here.
Cool.
So we're going to take all of you where the van finally died.
We had some people online that we talked to on the road. Thanks to everyone who joined us. We eventually made it to the gas station where Dale's van died on us 2 years ago. You can watch that video if you click on the link in the upper right corner now. After getting some snacks and calling our significant others, we were off again. We were only about an hour away from La Crosse now. This part of Wisconsin is really pretty in the summertime. There's a big valley where the Mississippi River is, and La Crosse sits right on that river in that valley. On the other side of the Mississippi is the state of Minnesota. Around noonish, we arrived at La Crosse. This road we are on follows the river to the hotel, and we drive past some not-so-interesting sights, and some interesting sights. We were able to check in early, which was nice, and then grabbed a cart and started wheeling our bins of terrain to the room the event was to be held in. Then we took a brief tour of the room, which was bigger than the 3 rooms we had the 3 years previous. We also had our own bathrooms, which was nice. Joe showed up not too much after this, and we started arranging tables. Then we started setting up terrain. This table was a rolling roads table that I set up using terrain myself, my partner, and our friend Steph made. That mat was on loan from Old Guard Games. I organized the space by having a sheet of paper at every table that had a table number, whether the table was an ash waste table or an underhive table, and a list of the 3 scenarios that were to be played on that table. At each table, there would be 3 scenarios that were double-sided and laminated as well. It took a while to organize everything since I didn't have every table accounted for because some of the uncertainties around exactly what each table was going to be like. I didn't want to have tables where the terrain didn't support what the scenarios were trying to do. We had all of these tables set up by probably 8 p.m. This was the table Mike made. He called it Dale's Junk Hole. He 3D printed and painted the whole thing in maybe a month, and also made the scenario to go with it, and small boxes with minis in them that people could win if certain things happened on the table. Well done, Mike. And then the Old Guard Milwaukee crew who were there began setting up Robbie's table. He was unable to make it, but had created this enormous centerpiece that he wanted us to take and play on. I was happy to oblige, and it was really fun working with everybody to set up the table that night. And here it is. It really blends in nice with Dale's existing terrain. I know Robbie has more to do on this piece, and I look forward to seeing it completed. I did help a little bit with it so far, and I hope to continue working on it with Robbie in the future. Dale then took the opportunity to interview Benjamin and then Joe for our weekly This Week in the Sump video series, which we then released on schedule that Saturday morning at 12 a.m. And with that, we were done for the evening. I stayed up late to make a video, and I released it in the wee hours of Friday morning.
First off, I am Farmer Joe. I think I know most of you, but not everybody, which is also kind of awesome that we started 4 years ago with 12 people. And in 4 years' time, we're up to 34. So this is a great testament to the Necromunda community and to all of you. This is fucking awesome. I can't believe that this just kind of came up as a lark because we were never able to actually finish campaigns. And we're like, if we could get everyone together and everyone be like-minded to just hammer through a weekend, and holy shit, that would end up being a great idea because now there's 34 of us. So this is a true community effort, and I want to thank each and every one of you for making the effort to be here today, for bringing stuff to contribute, from awesome giveaways to awesome looking armies to schlepping tables to Diabetes Corner to everything we got. This is a true community event, and thank you all very much. Some of you traveled way far for this, and we're going to try to make this a really great weekend of gaming. This year I actually get to play. Woo! So I'm going to shut up, and you might not even get to hear me talk again until Sunday, because I am going to go out here and I think just hand it all over to Jay, who has done a fantastic kick-ass job. I was trying to pull this off with a notebook, and look at where we are now. So a big hand for Jay, and give us the nitty-gritty.
So the way it's going to start is we're going to have everybody's name up here, and I'm going to randomize them. I did randomize before, but I had to change it, so I'm going to do it another time right before your eyes. And then how it's going to work is the person on the top is going to... So I go on to talk about how the weekend campaign is going to be run. I've made several videos on the weekend campaign already, so I'm just going to give you a brief overview here. Each game, players will challenge other players to play for a territory that is either an Ash Waste territory or an Underhive territory. Then the challenger picks a table that matches the type of territory they picked, and they play the game on that table. Each player rolls a d6 and adds the number of clues they have to that die roll, and the high roller picks the scenario at that table that they'll play. When someone wins a game, they get a clue. Anyone who doesn't win a game gets to pick from a 208 card rummaging deck. The rummaging deck provides things like credits or weapons or war gear, or clues or rackets. The idea is that while the other player who won the game was focused on the scenario, the other gang was able to rummage around the battlefield and find some interesting items. Thank you, Peter, for suggesting this idea. The players with the most clues get to play in multiplayer games in the evenings of Friday and Saturday, and also special games that are 1v1. The evening games also grant rackets. Rackets would provide special boons to players who have them, and enhanced boons to players who have the rackets and the associated territory that goes with the racket. The 4-player evening games grant special territories that grant special things, like access to the Spire trading post or additional fighters. We had a few other quirks in this campaign. John from Adepticon brought and ran the fighting pit table. Captured fighters would either be sold for half price to the guilders, or the players could fight in the fighting pits in the evening for the prisoner to be returned. The fighting pits could also be bet on using credits that the gang had in their stash, so it was another way for people to make some extra credits on the side, besides territory or racket income or scenario special rules. Jason was playing a character named Grifter Joe, who would trade with other players to acquire specific items while making credits on the side. Joe had provided some 3D printed tiles that everyone could paint using paint pens. These will be displayed at Adepticon this year, and Mike also made ridiculous wanted posters of Dale, Joe, and myself, and posted them all up all over the place, in addition to the big table that he made. There was also the Doily of Death, where any fighter who was 66th during the event would be placed until Sunday, so we would have a visual of just how many fighters didn't make it through the weekend. Also, we had a cake for our 4-year anniversary that Joe would cut and serve on Saturday. We all then got together for a big group picture. Once pairings were done, we got into round 1. Everyone was having a good time, and I was quite happy walking around seeing all the games popping off and people telling me what was happening in their games.
Definitely cover because there's so much terrain between me and you. But there's a nice gap I can see, like from your feet to your waist. So yeah, definitely. About mounting things. There's a meat shield right there.
It's true.
I'm gonna take the shot. So it's gonna be 3 up and 2 off.
We are not very intelligent. No?
Intelligence 8.
No, it's just generic settlement. Okay, that happened. Good game. That happened. You remember?
Nice.
Oh, I have to put him into the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Say goodbye. Clay. He was a good fighter.
Friday night we had the 4-player games and 2 other special games. We always had at least 12 people, so all 3 4-player games were full each night. Most people opted not to play evening games or fight a few rounds in the fighting pits. We had fewer folks than I thought playing the evening games, but it was probably for the best.
Happy 4 years, everybody! All right.
Saturday after lunch, Joe sang the birthday song for 4 years of the Ash Waste weekend. This event was all his idea in the hopes of getting people to play Necromunda more. It's a great idea, and I know a number of the attendees get to play most of their yearly Necromunda at this event, so I wanted to make sure they had a good time this year. I take that responsibility very seriously. We had people fly in from California, North Carolina, North Dakota, and Iowa, and I really appreciate that you all took the time and energy and spent the money to travel all the way to a small town in northwest Wisconsin. Also, all of our friends in Illinois and other parts of Wisconsin and Minnesota, thank you also for coming all that way. I know a number of regular attendees that Joe had originally met at Adepticon since he runs one-off narrative Necromunda games there every year, and speaking to those gamers at Adepticon kind of got the creative juices going to form the idea of a weekend event. And speaking of Adepticon, this past Adepticon, Dale and I were there with the sump wall in a guerrilla fashion in the open gaming hall. We'll be working with John this upcoming Adepticon to be officially part of the main Necromunda campaign event this time, instead of us flying by the seat of our pants not really knowing what we were doing. We'll have the sump wall and more specifically made sump terrain for Adepticon this year, so I hope to see a lot of you there. And we are also working with John from Adepticon to do a kind of test run for some of next year's concepts for the Ash Waste weekend at this year's Adepticon 2026 event. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's rewind a little bit before Joe cuts the cake, and let's take a quick look at the gangs of this year's Ash Waste weekend. Over the lunch period of Saturday, Joe has a number of independent hobby judges come to the event and fill out a painting, modeling, and hobby rubric for each gang. There were 5 hobby awards at the Ash Waste Weekend 2025, and they were Best Gang, Best Mount, Best Brute, Best Vehicle, and Best Display. And if you want to take a closer look at these gangs, then you should check out my other video, Ash Waste Weekend 2025 Gang Showcase, which you can watch now by clicking on the link in the upper right corner. After the cake cutting and the afternoon games, we once again had the evening games. These games were, again, 3 4-player games. One of them was Claim the Spire using Robbie's table, where the winner would gain access to the Spire trading post, giving them the ability to buy a vortex grenade, amongst other things. The way the Claim the Spire scenario works is that at the end of each turn, whichever gang has the ganger that is the closest to the tallest point of the terrain gets a point, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Each gang started in a corner on the ground level of the board, and it ended up being a very dynamic game which lasted long into the night. Exactly the kind of night game I was hoping would happen. And one of the scenarios was Destroy the Zombie Generator, where the winner would be able to have D6 plus 1 zombies added to their gang as additional free extra models. We had a Chimerix hunt scenario where both players were attempting to find and take out a Chimerix, which is no simple feat as any Escher player will tell you. The game was played on Mike's table with some added sci-fi woods pieces that I made from aquarium plants. It made the game feel like a Jurassic Park situation, where the gangs had to go into the Chimerix's habitat and lure it out. Another 4-player scenario happening on Saturday night was the War in the Shadows from the Book of Ruin. It's an interesting scenario where everyone just places one model to start the game, then each turn, another model from their gang shows up near a model they already have on the battlefield, so as the game goes on, the gangs emerge from the shadows to fight each other. And of course there were plenty of people crowded around the fighting pits wanting in on a piece of the action, and they also wanted to be a part of the action. Thanks again, John, for running the fighting pits for us this weekend. Oh, and another thing I had forgotten to mention earlier was that everyone who attended got a free dice tower and a free tape measure. I wanted to make sure everyone got something simply for taking time to come to our event. Some people even used the paint markers Joe had brought to paint the tape measures. Thank you, Mike, for printing the dice towers, and Toby for bringing the tape measures.
God, I love this thing. Question. I have terminal biology on all of those dead ones. Does that still count towards his skulls?
Sunday games kicked off around 9:30 a.m., and I walked around to talk to everyone during the last game of the weekend. Everyone seemed in good spirits. Everyone sounded like they were having a good time, too. Joe had even bought some Bloody Marys. Ooh, Bloody Mary. Yeah, nice.
Dude, this is awesome. We did like a breakdown.
Yeah.
So like it's starting to like sputter, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we should pull into this canyon. We can work on it. We're gonna be safe.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and activate my leader.
Walking around this last day, I really tried to take in the sights and sounds for one last time. The tables looked great, and the minis everyone brought looked great also.
Stage. He jumps up and throws an incendiary grenade.
Wow.
All three of them. That's big. He was at this one. So.
Get to the top of the hot dog stand. Oh, this is the worst hot dog stand I've ever been on. This was the match that would determine the Lord Humongous. Adam and Jason were the top two, and we had decided after Saturday night's games that they would play each other on Sunday. They picked Mike's table, which was great to see the big game played on it, and I don't think either of them had a chance to play on it yet, so they enjoyed this one. After all the games had finished, I took one last shot of the Doily of Death, just to see how many fighters had been 66'd over the weekend. I also took one last photo of the graffiti tiles also. I did the JD and the Sump C tile. I'm better at painting miniatures, I'm afraid.
Me and to, I think, everybody that someone's willing to come halfway across the fucking country to make toys. That's awesome. And those of you that didn't travel far, well, you're okay too. But seriously, like, this is great. This is we're really building a cool community group effort here. Let's just keep it going, right? Let's try to keep that Discord halfway active, and then we'll start talking about Adepticon. It'll be our next like kind of community meetup, and then maybe I'll have dates for 26. And I hope Jay's ready to talk now.
Sounds like probably not.
But seriously, thank you all. This is a group thing, and let's just keep her going.
No pressure, Jay, but he's not very imaginative.
Great speech. Thank you all for coming and playing my crazy campaign. It was really cool to see it all come together, and you all were amazing, and I didn't have to herd cats much at all, which was great, because usually it's just a cat herding experiment with these sorts of things, but not this weekend, which was awesome. We couldn't have got through it on time and as well as we did, without all you guys doing what you did. So I appreciate everybody that came from a long ways away too. That was really cool. Even if you just drove, a couple hours or even an hour or whatever, that's awesome that you made the trip and were able to do this. So I really appreciate it. So we're gonna start some awards. I think the hobby awards first. I think that sound good. The hobby awards were awarded first, and even though we only gave out 5 awards, there were so many beautiful gangs of models and display boards we could have given out way more. The best display went to Adam. His Van Saar had this really cool display base with multiple levels and blinking lights, and even a nameplate at the front. Best mount went to Jackie's Ashwaste Nomad's Stormcaller. The pinkish wires represented the psychic forces swirling around the Stormcaller as it communes with the elements. Really cool idea and really good execution. Best vehicle went to John's Enforcer's Armored Van, which I think is based off of a toy that I was planning on converting also at some point. It's such a nice conversion and really great clean paint job. Best brute went to Jamie's Iron Automata, a very cool miniature. I think it's a 3D print. A really nice paint job with the paint chipping effects being very realistic. Best gang went to Toby's Chaos Cultist gang that Devin was borrowing for the weekend. It is such a beautifully painted gang and display board, nice mix of different Chaos models, and a suitable vehicle for them as well. The rest of the triumphs I then awarded for most enemy vehicles wrecked, most of their own vehicles wrecked, most territories won, most rackets won, most clues, highest win percentage, highest reputation, most own fighters 66th, and then a couple other ones, which we'll get to in a second, but only someone who had not already won a triumph could win a triumph. So, whereas somebody may have had more reputation than someone else, they may still have won the highest reputation because that person had won an award already. So it was fairly difficult to figure out exactly who got what award at times. And I did make a few mistakes, which I've rectified online on the Discord. And then the final awards were... skulls. Who had the most skulls? Who killed the most guys? Well, that's Mike, the guy who 3D printed the freaking accident. That's our gift to you from Dale. There you go.
Thanks for painting my stuff, Dale.
Don't sit on it.
All right, what am I missing here? What am I missing here? Oh yeah, the most narrative player, the most displaced player, shall we say, the one that possibly is also second place in the Staying Alive 2023 dance competition. That would be Dale.
So you all know that don't be displaced into a wall and skull. So he's dead forever.
May he rest in peace.
Right. And I've got to give it another reward for best dressed. And the best
The
dressed,
trophy says staying alive.
the best dressed, Staying Alive 2023 first place best dressed award goes to not only best dressed but best dressed gang. Ty with his. Yeah.
Should I get some? I don't need some. I just wore a shirt.
Okay. All right. Get out of here.
I'll take it.
No, just kidding.
Later, we'll talk.
I made small things.
All right, and then we have the. We're gonna get to the overall winner here. We got the Lord Humongous Award, and that one goes to Jason W.
Yeah, thanks for a great narrative event, everyone.
Thanks for killing everyone talking.
Right? I'm just, you guys grew by double this year. The display boards, or not display boards, but the playing boards out here, you guys knocked it out of the park. Over here, beautiful artists getting stuff down for Adepticon. It's gonna be so cool. And man, the hobby around here, you guys have done is so great. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. Thank you guys for letting me participate.
So I have some final thoughts on this event. I recommend to anyone wanting to run a weekend-long Necromunda campaign event to not try and run a Dominion campaign, or probably any of the campaigns out of the book campaigns that Games Workshop has made. They have far too many variables to keep track of, and if you have more than, say, 12 people, the bookkeeping takes way too long and can easily be messed up. Also, the more people you have, the more times you will have to arbitrate the campaign rules throughout the weekend, so keeping it simple is a better idea. Having a few hobby awards and a few triumphs, and that is it, the 16 awards we had were probably too many. Have a smooth data entry procedure for keeping track of the event. It took me way too long to enter everyone's data the way that I did it. Also, try to enjoy yourself. Walk around, see what's going on in the games. And also, I'm sure that I'll think of more things once this video is uploaded, but I had a great time, and if you do something like this, I hope you also have a great time. So that was the Ash Waste Weekend 2025 in a nutshell. We had people from all over the country show up and play games for the weekend, and it was fantastic. I really appreciate everyone who showed up and played games, and even those who just showed up and hung out, and also the judges of the hobby competition. I don't want to forget about them. Thank you so much for coming and judging the hobby portion of the event. And I want to thank Joe again for asking me to set up the campaign for this event. That was really nice of him to do that. Thanks also to everyone who brought terrain for tables. That was really cool. We couldn't have done it without all of your support. I'd like to also thank Mike for doing the wanted posters. It really added another element of humor, and his table was really exciting too, with all the free giveaways that it offered, so that was really cool too. Really appreciated all the effort that you put into that, and all the trophies that you printed as well for us. Was a great help. I couldn't have done it without you either, Mike. I also want to thank John for coming up from the Adepticon crew and bringing the fighting pit table and running some fighting pit scenarios. That was also amazing. And again, it was a huge element of the weekend that without your support, it just wouldn't have been the same. So thank you also for the fighting pits and for bringing that terrain and playing in the event. I also want to thank Jason, or should I say Grifter Joe, for adding another element that would be sorely missing without you. That element of a third party who's there to compete, but really is also there simply to make money, and allowing the rest of the players to do something a little bit different outside of the normal boundaries of the campaign system. It really added, again, another element. And I keep finding cards for Grifter Joe in my terrain weeks later. We're already in talks about next year's event, and we have some interesting ideas for what we're going to do, so watch this space for more information about that. I'm hoping next year will require less record keeping. I think that'll help both the organizers and the players with playing the game and having a great campaign weekend. And don't worry, I'll keep all of you online up to date about what's going on with next year's event, but that is a ways away. And I'd like to wish all of you a happy holidays, and as always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.